red water once again gets laid at the door of brassicas, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's less common now, but in recent times we have seen some particularly new species of bulb crop that have appeared to be a risk factor here. And so red water results from a chemical in some of these brassica crops that basically results in the red blood cells breaking apart, and so we get loss of hemoglobin. Rather than blood, it's just the red pigment in the blood cell that gets transferred through the kidneys, and we can see the evidence of that in urine. So that's why it's called red water. We get that hemoglobin coming through in the urine. There's a couple of major issues to the animal when that occurs. One is, of course, we're losing red blood cells, so we can get an anemic animal and we can get symptoms very similar to nitrate poisoning, where there's just not enough red blood cells to transport oxygen around. The other problem with red water is that the hemoglobin itself is toxic to the kidney. So if we get really bad cases, these animals can die of kidney failure. So it's always just a good observational thing. If you're seeing these animals blowing, exercise intolerant, and they're on winter feed crops, particularly brassicas, it's well worthwhile keeping that in mind. And if you're looking at these animals and you're seeing them pass water, then maybe just keep a bit of an eye on what the coloration of that urine looks like. It might give us a good indication as to what's going on. But again, another well recognised risk factor with brassica feeding.
Are the plant breeders working on this?
They are, as I said, modern cultivars tend to be much less of a problem, especially for red water. That's a problem where certain species of plant can be selected to not produce that toxic chemical that causes the destruction of the red blood cells. So it's not as prevalent a problem as it was perhaps 20 years ago, but we still see the odd case, yeah.
Are you inoculating against it? I mean,
you can't vaccinate against it. It's a matter of knowing the risks are there and watching for the symptoms, and if they show their ugly head, getting onto things early, mitigating the problem, and feeding the crop in a safer manner. So, yeah.